Before we get started, first of all, I just got to say, Disney, I have pretty much given you guys kind of an L for the way your scheduling has been. I know that Star Wars and Marvel are two completely different things, but when it comes to this, having um, two big series go on at the same time, for me, it's not a really good idea, especially since I'm both a fan of Marvel and Star Wars. It really was a struggle to decide, which one did I want to see first and which one did I want to see last. And it was like, like how can you have two of the biggest companies or biggest studios and franchises drop episodes the same day? I mean, it's not like there's like one day of the week. Like there's other days that you can drop one and then the other. So that's just a quick tangent. But welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. My name is Anthony Salick, and today we are going to be reviewing both episode 1 and episode 4 of Miss Marvel and the Obi Wan show. So let's get started. So how I'm going to break it down is I'm going to do it into the two parts. The first part is going to be Obi Wan episode 4, and then the second part is going to be Miss Marvel episode 1. So if you guys want to just watch one or the other, I'll have the timestamps at the bottom and the link in the description. In the description. So if you want to see one or the other, or if you just want to see both of them, just, feel free to, do however it is you want to do. But so we're going to start off with Obi-Wan, and then we're going to move on to Miss Marvel. So I'm going to try to keep both of them short just because they both yeah, are basically, it's kind of easy because like episode 4 for Kenobi is sort of like a quick mission, while episode 1 of Miss Marvel is like an introduction. So let's start off with Obi-Wan first. All right, so Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4 picks off right where we left off. It was with Leia being captured by the third sister. Was it? No, sixth sister. Was it? I forgot which one it was now. But so I'm going on to this episode. It's basically an infiltration, search and rescue mission between Obi-Wan, Tala, trying to rescue Leia, and sort of we get a little bit more story when it comes in it. I will be very honest. This to me, for some reason, felt a lot like a filler episode. Definitely not my favorite episode. It is a good episode in terms of what they're trying to do with the character, right? The whole part of rescuing Leia and whatnot, and I think that is a good way to handle the character. It's just, again, 6 episode series. We have a limited time with these characters, with these actors, so you would kind of expect for it to be a little bit, a little bit more important. Like, I remember I saw a tweet about it right before I started recording. It was like, how the hell does a 6 episode series have a filler episode? And this did in fact feel like a filler episode, because the way that episode 2 kind of ended off was, sixth sister, or is it sixth sister? I think it is sixth sister or third sister. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm having a struggle. I just watched 2 shows back to back, but the whole point is that Leia ends up getting captured, and then this episode is of them rescuing Leia. So you could kind of, there is a little bit of that, why was this needed? But it, for the story that they're trying to go, I hope that they do. So to kind of summarize it, we have Obi-Wan. He's in a bacta tank and he's sort of healing up. He doesn't fully heal, and then he meets up with these I don't want to call them rebels. They're just survivors on this planet, and it really they essentially, Obi-Wan's like, we need to rescue Leia. This other guy, I forgot his name, man. Again, the one thing this show is kind of struggling with is these side characters, because I do not remember a single goddamn name of these side characters aside from the woman, which her name is Tala. But it's just a search and rescue mission with Leia, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. I just think that, it kind of makes sense, but the way that it was executed makes it seem like this was a filler episode. And I don't mean filler in like a bad way. It's just like, it's good if you watch it, but maybe if you skip it, depending on how next week's episode is gonna handle it, especially with the fact that next week's episode is gonna be the final build up to the season finale. So there's sort of this like thing that I really did enjoy this episode, but not for the reason that I wanted it to be. It was a good, episode. We saw Obi Wan sort of getting better with how he handles the Force, and we see him do great stuff with his lightsaber. Deflecting shots from droids and stormtroopers, and then we also get to see him, take out a couple people. But main story wise, it really, again, it's just a search and rescue mission. You have to sort of look in between that story in order to get some good moments. Like we have Darth Vader questioning, I think it is Sixth Sister. I think it is the Sixth Sister. Like we have Darth Vader, interrogating her. And then, you have like the quick lightsaber fights that Obi-Wan has with the stormtroopers and the droids, right? We see Leia getting interrogated by the Six Sisters again. So it's a really, really good episode. I myself don't think it's the best episode. I still think it is episode 3 up to now. I that could change next week, but as of right now, episode 3 is my favorite episode. I really kind of do wish that I like this episode. Here's another thing too. This episode had very, very little Darth Vader, and we know that Darth Vader is gonna have a major part when it comes to these last 2 episodes. This was mainly a Six Sister episode, which again I stated is good. I like the character, but again, as I stated last week, I am afraid that the character might be seen in a bad way for how much screen time she is taking. And this is a very, very big episode for her. And that's not even including the fact that we still don't know her origins. We still don't know her motives. So that means that she's going to have more additional story when it comes to these last 2 episodes, which is fine. I don't mind it. But again, as we come with these last 2 episodes, it's going to be like, okay, well, why is she taking up the screen time of Obi-Wan, of Darth Vader, especially when we're probably going to get another duel between the two. And as we sort of close off the series with this season, whether or not they're going to continue it, again, remains to be a question. But overall, I did really enjoy this episode. Again, kind of felt like a filler to me. There is good moments in here. For example, Obi-Wan holding broken glass, using the Force, and then letting it go in order to stop a bunch of stormtroopers. I really did enjoy. There's a lot of good stuff in here. There was a room in which Obi-Wan actually enters and he sees a whole bunch of people sort of not carbonated. I forgot what it was. They're stuck in like this amber fluid, and there was, I believe, a whole bunch of cameos. One of them that I actually saw was a youngling from the Jedi Temple. So who knows? Maybe there is some story there that I just so happen to miss, and hopefully this show sort of gives us a little bit more of that. There is still a couple of things I am expecting from the show. One of them, another rematch between Vader and Obi-Wan. 2, a Qui-Gon scene. They have been teasing the hell out of Qui-Gon. And 3, this is on me, but I do want to see some sort of Clone War flashback. Again, I still believe that they brought in Hayden Christensen for a good reason. Because as of right now, again, Hayden Christensen hasn't had that much screen time as himself. As Darth Vader, yeah, he has. He's done his job. But again, you don't bring Hayden Christensen back for Vader. Disney has proven that they can do Darth Vader without Hayden Christensen. They've done it before in the originals. They did it in Rogue One. So as to why he's here, that still remains to be answered. But I do think we might get that next week. Whole lot of more questions to be answered. Still got 2 more episodes. Still loving the series. It is such a great, great series. This episode was a little bit of a downhill, but I think that's in order to have a great uphill with these last 2 episodes. Overall, solid episode. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's not my favorite. Was enjoyable, and there's a whole lot of details in there that I'm probably missed, but still loved it. And yeah, so with that said, solid 7 out of 10. Next week, hopefully, we get a little bit more. But now we are going to switch on to the Miss Marvel side. So here we go. All right, guys. So now we are going to be moving on to the Miss Marvel stuff. So for those of you who are wondering, the way that I did it was I watched Obi Wan first, and then I watched Miss Marvel afterwards, just because I wanted to continue off with Obi Wan, because again, that's the one that we've been following so far. So I watched Obi Wan first, and then afterwards I watched Miss Marvel. So this one's the freshest one that I just saw, so I do remember it a little bit more. Miss Marvel by Marvel Studios is without a doubt, in my opinion, a solid MCU show. So I'm not really a big fan when it comes to Miss Marvel. I mean, I've read her comics, right? I read it. Obviously, I understand where she comes from, but I never really got like really like big heavy with the show or with the character. I'm a little bit more of a fan of, like, you know, a couple of cosmic characters and a couple of other street level characters. But this show was wildly amazing. I mean, this show was like if a fan was able to like create a Marvel Studios project, this would be it. This literally felt like some kind of fan project ish creation. I don't know, and that's exactly what Miss Marvel is, right? Miss Marvel has always been a very Avengers fangirl like character. Of course, her having, you know, her Pakistani traits and whatnot. And I really, really did enjoy it. As somebody who sort of grew up, you know, as a teenager who, you know, was obsessed with all, you know, the with Marvel and like Star Wars and comic books, I really did find a good sort of relativity, or I was really, really, like, how do you say it? Like, I understood where Miss Marvel was coming from, right? I was a big fan of comic books as a teenager, as a kid, etc. So to see a show sort of dedicated to this character who's a big fan of the MCU inside of the MCU, I just thought was absolutely amazing. Kamala Khan herself, I forgot the name of the actress, Iman Vellani, I believe that's her name. She is a great, great actress. I think that the way she is portraying Miss Marvel is great. She is a junior now in high school, is where the story starts off at. So she's around 16, 17 years. Yeah, I think she's 16. I think they stated that. So it's roughly around, what is it? No, I think she was older than Peter Parker was at the start of Civil War, because Peter Parker was, I believe, 15 when Civil War started. So it only makes sense that Miss Marvel sort of is in that sort of same realm. I did get a lot of Spider-Man vibes from it, especially like mainly to Homecoming, in which you see like Peter is a you know, big Avengers fan, and this was literally like the same thing, just like times 100. I mean, there's literally Avengers references in almost every single shot, whether it be through the main characters themselves or whether or not it just be in the background. That I think is going to be really, really cool for like all the fans who are into the whole Easter egg breakdowns and whatnot. It's massive, and I think that that's so cool that even Marvel is willing to go in this type of direction in their own universe. Again, something that we briefly have seen in the MCU. The only exception probably being Spider-Man Homecoming, being like the only one in which we saw like Avengers fans and stuff like that. I overall did like it. Now, when the story itself is very, very interesting. Now, we know that Marvel has been pretty much changing Kamala's powers, because Kamala's powers in the comics is essentially she's an Inhuman, so she's related to like Black Bolt in them, and she basically has the ability to stretch her body, sort of similar to Mr. Fantastic, who again we recently saw. But in this show, they obviously have changed it to where her powers are mainly they come from this little, I don't even know how you say it, like a wrist ring, something like that. And that's what gives her the ability to go quote unquote cosmic. Now, as I don't think I ever stated it before, but like I said, I'm not really a big Miss Marvel fan. I mean, I know her abilities, right? The ability to like make her arms big or make her body big or whatever. I really did enjoy it though. I don't mind the power change at all. I mean, I don't mind it. Obviously, when it comes to the MCU is different from the comics, so it's okay to sort of branch out a little bit. But we also do know that Miss Marvel is also going to be playing a big part when it comes to Captain Marvel too. We know that she's going to be teaming up with Carol and Maria or Monica Rambeau. So it kind of makes sense that her powers are sort of cosmic in order to get a little bit more um, like relatability between the characters that they're going to be doing later on down the road. Which, and it's fine. I mean, I don't mind it one bit. I just thought that it was a little bit weird. I think it is gonna get some getting used to. There were some bits in the episode in which you actually see like a hand grow out. Like it's a huge hand that she forms in order to save somebody, which is staying true to what the comics are. Like it's just the fact that the hand is made out of some kind of cosmic energy. Whatever it is, we'll probably find out later on. I did enjoy the atmosphere of the episode. I mean, she's a teenager, so she's exploring the world on her own, right? And she has like these strict parents, and she's over here just trying to embrace who she really is by going to these conventions, by hanging out with the friends that can relate to her a lot. It really is like a down to earth superhero story with with a character like this, and it's amazing. It works out really, really good. I thought that the way that they sort of try to bring this teenager's world to life in the form of like, how high school is, how Avenger Con can be to a teenager who loves these types of superheroes, how her parents can treat her, right? She feels sometimes trapped in her parents' decisions, right? Like she can't do anything. It was overall solid. I enjoyed it, and especially as someone like, because here's the thing, I'm only 19 years old, so it's been like a couple of years. Like I'm like what if she's 16, I'm 19, 3 years, right? I understand where Kamala comes from. I had those moments with the parents. I've had those moments in which I've been fanboying over some announcement or character or movie or stuff like that. I understand what Kamala feels, and I think that that's so cool that we can actually see someone like this in the MCU as we watch the MCU. That was my alarm going off, sorry. So I did enjoy it. It was a great episode. Again, the power thing is a little bit different, but I do feel like as the story goes on, not only will we get used to it, but it's not going to be the main component in Kamala's story. Again, her story is becoming a hero, realizing that a hero's job comes with a lot of potential consequences, and I'm super excited to see it. I did enjoy this episode more than Kenobi episode 4, and I did think that Iman Vellani's character was great. I hope that they continue this up when it comes to the future, whoever the villain is going to be, whoever or whatever ability she's going to have to go through, or trials, obstacles. I'm all here for it, and I can't wait to see more of it. Overall, I'll give this was a solid episode. I'm going to give it an 8.5. Surprisingly, I did not expect to give it an 8.5, but again, I mean, it was solid. It was solid. Not my favorite Disney Plus first episode. I still think that kind of goes to Moon Knight, and I think Moon Knight and Loki still take that, but it still was a solid premiere. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I am going to be doing these types of videos at least for the next 2 weeks as we go to the end of Kenobi and as we continue Miss Marvel. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe for more videos, and I will see you all later. Peace.